I thought I'd show you the plants in my back family room while it's sunny and gorgeous. These plants are soaking up the sun. This is one of the lightest rooms in my house because we do have windows all the way around. Although the exposure isn't ideal, there are a lot of windows for the plants to get their sunshine. So I just wanted to show you around, see what we've got here. This one is a Salas Paradoxa, and it's always looking kind of leggy, but I'll kind of show you close up. It's a little bit fuzzy, but it does have kind of a triangle shape. If you were to take a cross section of the limbs of the plant, you would see a triangle shape. So it's three-sided, and it's an interesting one. It's certainly not full or lush, and it might even appreciate more sun than it's getting, but it's a fun plant, and it's grown a lot, believe it or not, since I've gotten it a couple of years ago. And then here I just have a regular Pothos. This had some variegation on it, but because it's not in a particularly light spot, it has reverted quite a bit back to all green. Right here I can show you some of the original variegation, but that's okay. I think it's a beautiful plant, and you know, the conditions in your home don't always match the greenhouse, which are absolutely ideal, perfect conditions for your plants. So it's fine, and it's really beautiful, and it's grown very big. I have made a few more plants out of it. It's nice to have a plant like this because you can gift little plants that you make from cuttings. So that's always a nice perk with vining plants. And as I had downstairs, I have some more Coleus Cuttings here. These are the ones that I hope to put back out in containers in my garden next year. And as they are doing downstairs, the ones in water are growing great. So they're doing just fine, and they've made lots of roots. I don't know if I can show you here. Well, these aren't the best roots, but the other vases in the back, which are hard to get out, have sprung a lot of roots. And then next to it here, I have a spider plant, and this is just one that I propagated from a cutting. So it's just a very small plant, but it seems to like this spot. Doing well. It's been here also for a couple of years. And right next to my couch here, I have a few plants that get mostly afternoon sun. It's just before 1 o'clock p.m. and the sun is starting to shine in here. But I have a lemon cypress tree, which I have to bring in. This is really one that I wanted for my patio, but I do have to bring it in because in Maryland, it's not quite hardy enough to handle Maryland temperatures. I think our mild temperatures thus far would be fine, but once we get into the colder part of the winter, it wouldn't make it. So for now, it's sitting here, and then on the warmer days, I'll just take it outside for a little fresh air and sunshine, and so far, so good. I've had this plant for maybe a month or so. And next to it is sort of a failed project here. This was rosemary, and no matter what I do, I never get it right with rosemary. But I also wanted to bring this in because any rosemary that I've had has not done well overwintering outside. So time will tell. I don't think it's dead. We'll see if when I put it back out in the spring, if it bounces back, but it's looking pretty dry and crispy, and I've been watering it every time it dries out a little bit. So I don't know if it's me or just, yeah, I just don't have the right conditions for it. And here's my little Portulacaria afra. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm going to put it over here and give it a little more sunshine. I also want you to be able to see it better. Isn't that doing much better? Half of it has really leafed out. It was the original part that was looking better, but all of the little areas have small little leaf sprouts, and I think it's going to be just fine. I'll be very excited when this fills out a bit, but all I did, guys, was bring it into the warm house and put it in a partially sunny window. Now this plant would probably appreciate full sun, but I have to give it what I have. Here's an above view angle, and that's probably the best angle for this little Portulacaria. I'm really pleased with how it's rebounding. It has a ways to go, but it's still coming along. And back here I have a very large Sansevieria. I'm not even sure what type it is anymore, or if it even came with an original tag, but this one does really well, and I've had this, I don't know, for 3 or 4 years, but they just take care of themselves. You let them get pretty dried out, and then you add water when that soil feels dry, and that's about it. I did put some plant spikes in it this year, so hopefully it's getting a little bit of fertilizer, but they really don't need anything at all. They just thrive on their own, and they only get a touch of sun here, kind of tucked into that corner. So it must just get just enough sun to make it happy. And then behind it, I have these beautiful Ponytail Palms. I think I should move them again. In the winter time, guys, everything gets pretty crowded around here and pretty layered, and sometimes it fits into the decor and sometimes the plants are just lined up. But I do have 3 Ponytail Palms here. You can really see the nice foliage here, and I just love them. And let me show you how they're bulbing up at the bottom. Their bulbs are getting pretty darn big. And I did keep them in this summer. I didn't put them out. But maybe again next summer I'll put them out. That one's getting kind of big. And this one, I don't know, it's kind of the same size, but it's looking fine. And these would probably look very nice spread out throughout the house, but I have to keep them where they get some sun. And this just happens to be it. I have a new Ponytail Palm. I really didn't need another one, but this absolutely perfect one about a month ago was on the Lowe's clearance rack. So I think they had just overbought Ponytail Palms, and it's got multiple plants in there, which I'm just going to keep together. I think it looks really nice. And I found this wonderful basket in my own basket stash, so I thought it looked really nice. I'm kind of getting more into baskets these days. They add a touch of warmth to the decor. And then right behind it, getting a bit of sun, is my Sansevieria Moonshine. And the newer leaves are quite silver. They're really, really pretty. And then I find that as they age, they do go to the darker green. And they're getting a little splash of sunshine, and it seems to be exactly what they need too. And I'm going to step back and show you a little peek from back here. It's a little much to have 2 plants there, but they seem happy, and that's the important thing. That's the most important thing. I do like things to look nice in the decor, but I also like them to thrive. And so they're squeezed next to the TV. On the other side of the TV, I have an absolutely enormous Monstera plant. And this is a wonderful plant. A couple years ago, I put it in a tomato cage because they do get kind of floppy when they grow long vines. But I do prune it back too when it gets really too long and won't stand upright. But isn't that beautiful, guys? It's so pretty. And the newer leaves are not, they don't have the little cutouts in them, but some of the older leaves do. So I don't know why that happens. And I don't know if those are going to get their cutout shapes. I'm going to have to pay attention and let you know. If you guys have experience with that, let me know. I don't know if they split after they've grown larger or if they hatch, so to speak, just like this, because this one looks pretty new. And this one gets some great afternoon sun, but it is basically just in bright indirect light. But it's so pretty. I love it. And this actually was in my daughter's college apartment and years ago, and we gave it to her when she first moved in. and we weren't sure she was going to be able to take care of it, and then she did a wonderful job, and when she moved back here for a couple of years, it came back with us. But it was too big for her to take when she moved out of state. So we keep it here, and it seems to like it. This is the spot where it's been for a very long time, and I really enjoy it. And guys, I usually water it when the leaves look a little bit dry. They lose their shine a bit. So I go ahead and give it a good soak, and I did that this morning. So I expect those leaves will get a little shinier tomorrow. So I only have one plant in the front hallway, so I thought I would tack it on to my family room tour. And this is my rubber tree. I had kind of turned it into a tree form, a standard shape, and then it sprouted another group of leaves down here toward the base, and it seems to want to bush out again, so I'm perfectly fine with that. But I'm really pleased that it likes its location here. This gets morning sun, and it's just tall enough to receive the benefit of the sun from the windows. So it's always wonderful when you can find the perfect spot for a plant, and I think it looks great, and it seems to be really happy here. Here are a couple of the hanging plants. This was the string of dolphins, which I featured, I don't know, a couple of years ago now. I had over pruned it, and it was not having any dolphins come back. And I panicked, and I did a video on it, and a lot of my friends on YouTube ran to check theirs to see if theirs had reverted back, and luckily nobody else had the same experience. But I think what I did was I over pruned it. But they have come back, and I have kept this plant watered a lot more. I don't know if you can see that shape. Look at that wonderful dolphin shape there. So it's come back a lot better. It's made a lot of vines. They're hanging down pretty low. But now, of course, I'm scared to prune it back. And it's still not the prettiest plant. I don't know if it's because I just don't have tons and tons of light. But maybe I need to reverse it and make it, you know, see what the backside looks like. But it's doing fine, and it's certainly doing a lot better than it was a couple years ago after my hack job. So that was a lesson to me. And I'm seeing some dried leaves here. I'm hoping it was just because it had a dry spell between waterings. We'll have to find out. It is right over this heating vent, which isn't always the best thing for plants. But I have added a cup of water here, and I may add a couple more to add some humidity into the air as it evaporates. And over the summer, I don't know what happened, but my Fiddle Leaf Fig really didn't do well. It was not outside, but it has put out at least 3 or 4 new leaves now. So whatever was going on, and it wasn't a pest problem, I checked. It might have been some type of watering issue. Whatever's going on has passed, and I think I'm going to rotate that. But it particularly will enjoy some humidity, and I'm glad that I put this cup in here to give it some extra humidity. And I'm going to just flip it around so that, you know, it grows straight. And just back here I have a little cutting of Enjoy Pothos, I believe. I think that's a Pothos. But it's a vining plant, and that one is still variegated. But hopefully my Fiddle Leaf Fig will come back. I don't know why the top died off. And then over here I got some Coleus, and I just left it in the pot it was in, and it's doing fantastic. You know, Coleus really makes a great looking house plant. And this is something I do also want to put back out in the garden next summer. But I think it's looking really pretty as a house plant. And that's just tucked back here in the corner. And it does not get too much sun. It's bright indirect light, but it's a very little bit part of the day where it actually gets direct sun. I thought this one was really pretty, this variety. So, and then over here, this is a, I think this is a, and over here, this is a Dracena. And I just repotted a cutting I had taken from it right here. I'm going to take the opportunity to rotate this too. But there we go. You don't want the plants to block each other. This is a very crowded corner indeed, but it is a good corner. But isn't that pretty? The new growth is really a lime green, and it's got that striped variegation, and it's always having crispy leaves happen, and I just trim them off, and you know, I hope for the best. And it seems to just keep growing. And in the back, this was my Dracena that I rescued this summer. And it's happy as can be. It's doing really well there. I think it is getting enough sunlight. And underneath, I have a little Ponytail Palm babies. And that was part of my dividing up Ponytail Palms. I had put 3 in here. So, yeah, oh, and this, I don't want to forget this. My friend Maria gave me her lemon tree when she moved. She didn't have the space for it. So I'm hoping I can keep this alive. Lemon trees are a little bit tricky, but it seems to be doing fine in this spot. And I just gave it a little bit of water. It's almost like a topiary. It's got leaves at the bottom as well. So we'll see how that goes. This was actually from a plant I grew from a seed, and I gave it to her, and I gave it to my sister, and she was able to keep hers alive. Mine died right away, and my sister's is now 6 feet tall. I mean, it is a major bush, but she does take it out and put it on her deck, which I don't think is full sun, but she puts it on her deck during the warm months. So maybe that's the trick. I don't know, but I killed my seedling right away, so I'm hoping to be able to keep that one alive. And then the last plant in my family room I want to show you. I don't know in this light if it's showing up well, but this is my String of Hearts plant. And I have showed you before how I propagated it just by cutting it and putting the ends back up into the pot. But guys, look at how long it's gotten. Oh my gosh, it's incredibly long. It's touching the floor, so I don't know how many feet that might be. But I think it might be time, maybe in the spring, I will propagate that and put it back up into the same planter, probably freshen up the dirt and just make a thicker plant. But that's done really well for me. And I've had that for probably 3 years at least, and I only got like 5 short strands like this, but they were short. And I popped them in a pot, and through propagation and just keeping it in a spot it likes, it's done really well. Let me show you close up. It's called String of Hearts because of the shape of the leaves. They're so pretty. So isn't that beautiful? And this is just the regular one. This is not the variegated one. I shy away from a lot of the variegated plants, especially the ones with white in them, because you need a lot of light, and I don't have a lot of windows with light. So I try to go for more green varieties, and I do have striping in my Dracenas, and they do okay. Look at how pretty that looks. But as far as any of the vining plants, I do try to get some of the darker green ones. They just overall do better in my setup. So guys, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you're enjoying your plants this winter. I know it keeps me going as I wait to get back out into the garden. And I just love to have something inside to nurture, although it does get pretty crowded when everything is all around my best windows. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.